Welcome everyone, it's Inside the Tape Day. It's the first day of practice here in Leogang for the third round of the 2024 Downhill World Cup. We've got a beautiful view behind us. We're up in the kind of lower part of the top section of the track. I'm going to just break things down a little bit for you so you can understand what the riders are dealing with, the different features and the different sections of this track, because it really does have sections. It's got three major sections. So the top is a blend of bike park berms, flow, jumps and some just little tricky off-piste technical sections. And with a really technical one down there we're going to look at. And then it moves into the motorway section, which is a long traverse that's really just there to get you from one part of the hill to another, but it's super fast, it's super critical for the race. And actually the best riders still go the fastest along it. And then there's the very bottom section that is just steep. It's in the woods, there's dirt, there's roots, there's not much grip. And it has been raining, as it is threatening to do right now. It rained a lot last night. And the riders this morning, well, they were struggling to get to the bottom. It was carnage and everyone was coming down with dirt on their arms, their legs and everything. So we're gonna work our way from where we are down to the stump section, because that stump section, it's got it going on. It's got it going on. It's hot. I want to go check it out. I want to go look at its curves and shapes and vicious drops. So let's work our way down to that, see what's going on, see who's getting stuff good. Let's get inside the tape. Let's go. So this corner is kind of a famous one. Like if you've ever seen the clip of Brooke McDonald coming over a crest off his bike, about 10 foot off the ground, this is the corner, so you won't have seen it from this side. So they've slightly changed the entrance to it this year to make it a little bit tighter, potentially trying to slow things down a touch, but it's actually made things really difficult. And one of the things that makes this corner so difficult is obviously that it's a very flat turn, loose and gravelly. It is slightly cambered, so it does help you round the corner. But the most difficult thing is the fact it's just completely blind over the next crest. And there's a couple different entrances to the next section. There's the left line down the rocks, there's a middle line that then traverses over to the left, and there's a fully inside line. And you have to have your angle of entrance perfect. Because if you come around that corner with speed, it's totally blind. You have no time to correct if you're going the wrong way, because like you complete the turn and if you've not looked up and spotted where you're going, you're already going off it. And if you're going off it in the wrong place, it's not going to end well. So the difficult thing about this is just knowing the angle. And what some riders will do, they'll just do it by feel. They can just tell by feel how much to turn. They don't really pick a specific marker. They just know that that's how far I need to turn. But some people will pick a tree. So you can't see the track, but you can see the trees. And standing on the top of it, see what Bernard does? Clean. Standing on top of it, they'll pick up a tree that they want to aim for. So as they come out the corner, they'll look for the tree, and that's what's going to line them up into the next section. And the riders that get it good are confident in that, and it makes them get off the brakes early into the next section. Some people are braking all the way up to the edge, like that. And it's just not as fast. You want to be sailing into that next section. Pick a marker, get off the brakes early, commit. Thank you, Lars. That was punctuated so perfectly. I love it when that happens. It's quite steep. Have you seen the holes? There's at least a couple. They're very holy and bumpy. I'm going to film them. Watch this. Got it. The difficulty of this corner compounds because two things add together to make it way more difficult. God, I really struggle not to react to what's happening. This is a corner with nice support at the start and then it just fades away into nothing and there's not a lot of support at the end. To get the exit of this corner good, you have to be in a good, strong, centered body position so the tires are weighted nice and evenly and it just hooks up on that exit. But the entrance has some big, massive holes and they're right where you're trying to brake and slow down, and that's why they're there. They're called braking bumps, because when you brake, the wheels grab the ground, pull dirt out of the ground, and then they skip, and then they hit the ground again grip, pull dirt out of the ground, and that's how it just digs constant holes. Trying to brake in those, and the compressions really can upset your body positioning. So the bike needs to be set up really good. You need to be physically strong. You need to be physically strong to handle the bumps so that you maintain a good stance and are able to get your weight centered for the exit of the corner. It's so hard. I've seen some people try to get out of the holes to remove it from the equation, but it's a narrow piece of track, and I've witnessed a few people almost wash on the exit because it's just so flat. Jesus, slice of ham. We are just above the kind of critical stump section, the one that always gives issue. We come here every year, but we do love it. So we've just maybe about 50 to 100 meters further down the track. We've got this fast compression section with all the past winners' names and the tree stumps, and then super tight left-hander that just caught out Benoit there because it's really, really tricky. It's very narrow when you come in fast. So if you miss your braking point by a couple meters, or maybe just your balance is a little bit off, it's easy to put the wheels over the top of it. Most people are on the same line now, which is coming in just on the main line, swinging high and hitting that inside catch. But once you safely navigate that corner, you take a deep breath across the little traverse and then go into that stump section. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go down, have a watch of some people doing it, talk about why each line is difficult, and then we'll fully break down the section, get the ghost cam out, see who gets it best. Let's go watch some riders.
Parce qu'en fait, ça peut prendre la hauteur.
The stump at the bottom of the screen is the main one they're dropping in of, so let's take a closer look at the line. So this green line with the see-through green is where they're in the air, is the main outside line with an optional gap over those rough steps at the exit. The other line on this blue line, you gap in to where the line goes solid and through that inside line with an optional gap over the steps at the end. And looking at that, it looks like that inside line is absolutely going to be the better option, but remember the turn at the bottom is much tighter and there's rough compressions when you're trying to turn. Very hard to carry the speed onto the motorway. The other variations of these lines include going around the stump or just next to the stump on the way in. But there's a lot of awkward routes there and it's a bit of a deviation to get onto that line, so it's not going to be as fast. The option on the inside line is dropping in, landing and then pulling again over the next compression, and it does set you up a little bit wider, but you've got a rougher landing and another gap to figure out instead of the smooth landing on the inside on that blue line. The only line that has like a smoothness to it through the kind of the stumpy bit is to come off the main stump and land on the downslope heading to the inside. But in the exit, it's debatable whether it has a quicken exit because you're left with some big compressions and a tighter turn at the bottom. Like if you can deal with the two compressions and head wide, you get a nicer turn and a straighter exit. See if these drops were in isolation, if they were just on their own and there was nothing else around them, they would still be quite difficult just because the way they are, they're just got like a nasty kick and the landing area is quite short. It's like a bike length long. But then if you add the steps and roots and like little awkward edges on the way in that kind of upset you just as you're trying to prepare for them, it just makes each drop even harder because of everything that's around it. And when you're watching and you see someone do it good, it's like, oh, that looks chill. I mean, this drop from where you take off to where you land, it's almost the same height as me. I'm massive. Yeah, gnarly section, but the riders that are getting it good are doing it with enough speed and then absorbing it and pushing that they can like float off of it. The riders that go too slow, they're just stalling and getting spat and kicked in like nasty ways. And also, your target area that you got to aim for is only like that wide. It's super hard. Sorry, it's the goat, it's fine.
Sorry, bro.
Let's remove the difficulty of the stumps and negotiating them smoothly and actually think about what is important. And the important thing is the speed you carry onto the motorway, because that motorway goes on a while, so you need to be coming out of it fast. How do you come out of a corner fast? Because really, if you look at this from a top-down perspective, it is just a corner. You have to get off the brakes early and carry the speed through the exit while pumping the bike through the backsides of each transition. Anytime your suspension is compressing, like you're hitting faces, hitting objects, that's speed being lost. So you have to try and either pick the bike up over them, unweight over them, or take a line where you don't hit them. So a lot of people on the exit of this are trying to gap and backside the last step. It's really tricky to do. The negotiating of the stumps and steps is about precision, controlling the bikes to stay smooth and composed, so that then allows you to get off the brakes to carry the speed out of the corner. So smooth through the stumps. Whichever line you do, it looks like both lines are quick, but whichever line you do is off the brakes, precise, put the wheels where they need to go, carry the speed out, and then you get on the hammers. Hammers? Throw the hammer at the stump and then pedal your tits off. Go, win, that's how you win. Yeah, super hard. There's also a natural spring on the outside line. Because yeah, why not? And why not ghost this section to find out who were the fastest in B practice, which is something we've not done before. So we've got the junior men, the junior women, and the elite females. Let's ghost the fastest on each line. So we've got Eliana Hulsbosch. She goes round all the stumps in the way and off the step and on that outside line. So that's going to carry her great speed down the motorway. And look at that, she's not even pedaling. Coasting in, and it was still a really fast time around that line. And now we've got Matilda Melton. She does the inside off the stump, super committing line. There's not many junior women that are out doing that and making it work well. She gets on the gas and she goes for the jump with a small tag, and here we go, they're coming into the section and you can see Matilda is accelerating away. She is heading into that inside line. She went into it super aggressive, accelerating away, and she's shrinking. She's getting real small as Eliana comes around the outside, and look at the extra speed she's got. And she's actually overtaken Matilda, even though she went the longer way round. And she is accelerating onto that motorway, but remember, she doesn't pedal. She was just having a cruiser. She got the stump so good that she knew she could just cruise along as Matilda's sprinting for the big takeoff. And we didn't have a consistent finish because they do different ones, and she's jumping over the head on the finish line. It's Eliana by 0.13. That was a close one. So we can't really attribute it to the line, more that Matilda pedalled. So I'd advise you pedal. That's obvious, that's key. And now we've got Matilda's teammate Valentina Roa Sanchez. They're both in that same line, but Valentina gets it so aggressive into that tight turn at the end, and she gets on the pedals, sends it onto that jump and away. And we got Miriam Nicole. She was struggling with this section, but this is one of the runs where she got it the cleanest and good speed out and good hard pedals on the way out as well. So let's compare the two of them and see who's going to take it. So you can see that Miriam's having to go quite casual, quite cautious over the drops, and Valentina's off. She's disappearing. She commits so hard into this turn at the bottom, and it is amazing. She definitely loses a little bit of speed, but look how far ahead she is. Coming out onto the motorway, Valentina is on the pedals, but Miriam's a bit of a beast. Look at those legs. She is putting down the power. She's going to start catching her up. She's definitely gaining time as she goes off the lip, and it's still going to be to Valentina. Absolutely smashing it. She was the fastest by a long way. Now we have rider Lawrence pulling for that gap. He was one of the few riders making it look clean, but it was definitely a big compression on that exit. He gaps onto the motorway, gets it smooth, and we're going to compare him against Asa Vermette. He was definitely one of the fastest on that inside line. He was super smooth into the corner, good on the pedals, and chill over that jump, but he kept it super low. So they both gap into the section. You can see Ryder is floating over that channel, and Ryder's actually in front. He was actually faster into this section. I did not expect that. He goes low, hits the compression, and Asa gaps all the way in. He gets to pump through the turn, and look, he's overtaken Ryder, so he's got more speed out of the corner. The smoothness into that turn is what's made the difference with the exit speed, and now up to the jump, hits the takeoff, and look at that. The exit speed got him 0.27 faster than Ryder. But what about the outside? Max Alran, he won qualifying today, and look at that, he's so chill, so smooth, but that is deceptively fast. So let's take Asa's run and we'll compare it with Max. So Asa, he dives into that inside line, gaps it in super smooth, but the speed that Max managed to carry over those drops without getting loose, and they both gap into this compression, hit the down slope, pump, on the pedals. Asa's on the pedals super early. Max isn't, but it looks like Max is actually overtaking him. The pure exit speed out of that line has meant he's carrying the speed to the jump. But who's it going to be? Who's going to take it? It's Asa by 0.03. And honestly, it looked like it might have just been the difference of pedaling. Asa put in a couple more cranks than Max did, and it's going to be Asa for the ghosty of the day. But honestly, could have been either of them. That was a close run through. And there's Asa. Look at him. Look at him. He's really fast. Luckily, the filmer slash producer realised as we were running down the hill to go make the video that we didn't do an outro. Thanks for watching. That was Inside the Tape here in Pinkbike. Tomorrow we've got... what have we got tomorrow? I'm cooked. My thighs are on fire and I'm dripping with sweat. There'll be another video tomorrow, so watch it. Yeah! Yeah! I'm not gonna do this. I'm too fried. Let's go. My bag's over here. We're leaving.